Cabinet approves draft of National Defence Policy 2018 defining armed forces wartime role and beyond. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina opens solo exhibition of painter Shahabuddin, urges all to cherish spirit of liberation war. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid calls upon all to resist conspiracies of anti-liberation forces. Namazi Janaza of 23 plane crash victims held at Army Stadium as bodies arrive in Dhaka. Vladimir Putin elected president of Russia for fourth time as expected. And heartbroken tigers return home from Sri Lanka. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Tasnima Tasneem, welcoming you to News at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chittagong Center.
And I'm Shamim Khan, welcoming you all. Those were the headlines. We now move on to the news in details. The Cabinet has approved the draft of National Defence Policy 2018, outlining the armed forces' role during wartime and beyond. The approval was given at the regular meeting of the Cabinet held with Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the Chair at Prime Minister's office today. The National Defence Policy suggested formation of national higher defence authorities such as National Committee on Defence Affairs and Cabinet Committee to be headed by Prime Minister and the Defence Minister respectively. Under the policy, all paramilitary and auxiliary forces will come under the operational command of the armed forces during war or any crisis period. The Cabinet also approved the draft of Fertilizer Management Amendment Act 2018, prescribing tougher punitive actions against marketing of adulterated fertilizer. The Cabinet meeting today also approved the draft of Bahrain Multi-Purpose Development Authority Act 2018 and draft of Bangladesh Livestock Research Institute Act 2018. The Cabinet approved a draft of an agreement to be signed between Bangladesh and India for cooperation regarding Rupur nuclear power plant project. The Cabinet endorsed a shipping ministry proposal to declare the capital and maintenance dredging of Rabunabad Channel of Paira Port as a national priority project. The Cabinet extended thanks to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for her dynamic leadership in making Bangladesh eligible for UN Developing Country status. The United Nations Committee for Development Policy's recognition to Bangladesh as a developing country came on March 15 for a sustainable economic position in all three categories required for the status. Prime Minister said her government is committed to maintain this advancement of the country. After the meeting, Cabinet Secretary Muhammad Shafiul Alam briefed reporters at the Secretariat. The Cabinet adopted two resolutions expressing profound shock at the death of noted artist Firdausi Priyobhashini and victims of the tragic plane crash in Kathmandu, Nepal on March the 12th. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said Bangladesh's graduation to a developing country is a slap to those who forecast that Bangladesh will be a bottomless basket after independence. She said this while opening a month-long solo art exhibition of celebrated artist Shahabuddin Ahmed at Shilpokala Academy in Dhaka this afternoon. Shilpokala Academy and Ganges Art Gallery, Kolkata, in association with the Ministry of Cultural Affairs, have organized the exhibition titled Shanti at the National Art Gallery of the Academy. Cultural Affairs Secretary Ibrahim Hussain Khan presided over the function, while Independence Award-winning artist Shahabuddin Ahmed, Academy Director General Liaquat Ali Laki, and Director of the Ganges Art Gallery Smita Bajoria spoke. At the function, the Premier unveiled the cover of a book, Om Amar Mukti Juddho, written by Shahabuddin Ahmed. The Prime Minister said Bangladesh achieved worldwide recognition as it graduated to a developing country from the LDC group. Sheikh Hasina said Bangabandhu earned Bangladesh's recognition as a least developed country and Bangladesh did not get any honor for 38 years. She said now Bangladesh got the UN recognition as a developing country. The Prime Minister said her government made tireless efforts to bring to the fore the true history of the Liberation War, as some generations were deprived of it. She said a distorted history was projected before them, and our aim was to highlight the true history so that we can get dignity as a victorious nation. Sheikh Hasina said a nation is enlightened when it's enriched with education, art and culture. The Prime Minister said her government wants Bangladesh to move forward, upholding the spirit of the Liberation War and stand on the world stage, keeping its head high. In this regard, she said, all will have to remain alert so that this spirit is not lost again. Sheikh Hasina said Bangladesh lost its way after the assassination of Bangabandhu in 1975, as distorted history gives birth to distorted character of the people. Mentioning that the politicians and cultural activists are complementary to each other, she said achievements are not possible if poets, writers, artists do not participate in any program. Describing Shahabuddin as a great asset for Bangladesh, the Premier said the most important thing is that he's a valiant freedom fighter. Later, the Prime Minister visited Exhibition Gallery. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid has urged the people to resist all sorts of conspiracies and evil attempts of the defeated forces of 1971, as they are the enemy of the country's independence, democracy and development. The President was addressing a freedom fighters reception at Rajbari Field in Ghazipur today on the occasion of the first Armed Resistance Day against the Pakistani occupation forces. The President said the 19th March of 1971 is a unique day in the history of the country's liberation, as the freedom-loving people, under the directive of Bangabandhu, had launched the first armed attack on the Pakistani forces in Joydevpur. In fact, the incident of 19th March was an outburst of oppression and exploitation against the then Pakistani regime, he added. Referring to the historic March 7th speech of Bangabandhu, the President said Father of the Nation Bangabandhu in his speech gave a clear outline of the country's independence and liberation war, reflecting the expectation of the common people as the charter of freedom of Bengalis, as well as the source of inspiration to the oppressed, exploited and deprived masses across the globe. The President called upon all to spread the spirit of liberation war and flourish the democratic thoughts among all, especially the new generation. Liberation War Affairs Minister A.K. Muzammil Haq, Muhammad Zahid Ahsan Russell MP, Ghazipur Zilla Purishad Chairman Akhtaruzzaman, City Awami League President Advocate Ajmatullah Khan and General Secretary Advocate Jahangir Alam, among others, also spoke on the occasion. Deputy Commissioner Dr. Dewan M. Humayun Kabir presided over the program.
The identified bodies of 23 Bangladeshi passengers of crashed US Bangla aircraft were brought back to Dhaka from Kathmandu, Nepal by a cargo aircraft of Bangladesh Air Force today. The cargo flight carrying the bodies landed at Hazrat Shahjalal International Airport this afternoon. From the airport, the bodies were taken to National Army Stadium for Namaz Janaza, attended by hundreds of people from all walks of life after Asr prayers. After the Janaza, General Secretary of Awami League and also Road Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir showed respect to the memories of the victims by placing wreaths at the coffins on behalf of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry also placed wreaths at the coffins of the ill-fated victims of the most deadly plane crash of the country's aviation history. Military Secretary to President Major General Muhammad Sarwar Hussain also placed wreaths on behalf of President Mohammad Abdul Hamid. Foreign Minister Abul Hassan Mahmood Ali, Planning Minister Mustafa Kamal, and Civil Aviation and Tourism Minister AKM Shahjahan Kamal also attended the Namazi Janaza, among others. After the Namazi Janaza and all formalities at the Army Stadium, the bodies were finally handed over to the relatives. Bangladeshi victims whose bodies were brought back today are Faisal Ahmed, Bilkis Ara, Begum Hurun Nahar Bilkis Banu, Aktara Begum, Nazia Afrin Chaudhry, Rokibul Hassan, Hassan Imam, Akhi Moni, Minhaz bin Nasir, Farooq Hossain Priyok, his 2-year-old daughter Tamara Priyon Mui, Motiur Rahman, S.M. Mahmudur Rahman, Tahira Tanvin Shoshi Reza, Begum Umme Salma, Mohammad Nuruzzaman, Rafiq Zaman, his wife Sanjida Haq, and their 6-year-old son Aniruddha Zaman, and 4 crews, pilot Abid Sultan, co-pilot Prithula Rashid, and flight attendants Khaja Hussain Mohammad Shafi and Sharmir Akhtar Nabila. US Bangla officials said that the DNA test will be required for identifying the 3 other victims, Alifuz Zaman, Piyash Roy, and Muhammad Nuzrul Islam, if all other methods fail. Earlier, the first Namazi Janaza of 23 Bangladeshis was held on the premises of Bangladesh Embassy in Nepal, Kathmandu, prior to flying for Dhaka. The relatives of the victims who were in Nepal for identifying the bodies also reached Dhaka by special flight of US Bangla Airlines half an hour before the Air Force cargo aircraft carrying the bodies arrived Dhaka. Another survivor of the crash, Kobir Hossain, was also brought back by the same flight today. Kobir was directly taken to Dhaka Medical College Hospital by an ambulance from the airport. Industries Minister Amir Hossain Amu has sought technical support from the World Intellectual Property Organization WIPO to accelerate the country's industrialization. He was exchanging views with WIPO Deputy Director General John B. Sandej at the Industries Ministry in Dhaka today. Among others, Industry Secretary Muhammad Abdullah, Registrar of the Patent, Design and Trademark Department M. Sanwar Hussain, and senior officials of the Industries Ministry were present at the meeting. During the meeting, they discussed on various issues including Patent Cooperation Treaty (PCT). Amir Hossain Amu said Bangladesh is actively considering the issue of signing PCT for accelerating the country's industrialization. John B. Sandej said PCT will accelerate the infrastructure development of the country, uses of information and technology, and environment-friendly green industrialization. Health and Family Welfare Minister Mohammad Nasim expressed his apprehension that if anti-liberation communal forces like BNP Jamaat come to the power, the country will fall into darkness and will be a safe haven for terrorists and militants. He told this at an extended meeting of Dhaka City South Awami League at his temporary office at Bangabandhu Avenue in Dhaka today. Chaired by Dhaka City South Awami League President Abul Hasnat, the meeting was also addressed by Awami League Joint General Secretary Mahbubul Anum Hanif and Organizing Secretary Khalid Mahmood Chaudhry, among others. Mohammad Nasim said that Awami League by any means would not let the country fall into darkness. If defeated forces of 1971 and 1975 come to the power again, the country will be turned into a safe haven for terrorists and militants. The extended meeting was organized to make tomorrow's 14 parties rally at the Central Shohid Minar in protest against the attack on eminent writer and educationist Professor Dr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal. Secretary in charge of Information Ministry Muhammad Nasiruddin Ahmed has been transferred to Cultural Affairs Ministry. Information Ministry gave him a farewell reception at the Secretariat today. Information Minister Hassanul Haq Inu and State Minister for Information Tarana Halim were present on the occasion. Hassanul Haq Inu described Nasiruddin Ahmed a skilled officer and wished him success at the new workplace. Principal Information Officer Kamrun Nahar, BSS Managing Editor Abul Kalam Azad, Film Archives Director General Shochindranath Haldar, Mass Communication Director General Muhammad Zakir Hussain, PIB Director General Muhammad Shah Alamgir, BFGC Director General Amir Hussain, NIMC Director General Muhammad Rafiqul Zaman, Additional Secretaries of Information Ministry Muhammad Abul Hussain and Muhammad Sultan Mahmud and officials of the ministry were present on the occasion.
Now, international news. Vladimir Putin will lead Russia for another 6 years after securing an expected victory in Sunday's presidential election. Mr. Putin, who has ruled the country as either president or prime minister since 1999, got more than 76% of the vote. Addressing a rally in Moscow, Mr. Putin said voters had recognized the achievements of the last few years.
Credited with 3/4 of the votes cast in Sunday's presidential poll.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina greeted Vladimir Putin for his re-election as Russia's president. In a message of felicitation, Sheikh Hasina said Russia was enjoying continued stability, peace, progress and prosperity under his dynamic leadership. She expressed her confidence that Vladimir Putin's political wisdom would lead him to further success for the Russian Federation and its people.
Turkish forces and Free Syrian Army FSA rebels captured the center of Afrin in northwest Syria after Kurdish fighters were in control, evacuated the city in order to fight another day. Turkish military said in a tweet on Sunday that troops were searching for landmines and other explosive devices in the area. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said in a speech in western Turkey that many of the terrorists had turned tail and ran away already. Erdogan said the Turkish flag and the flag of the Syrian opposition fighters were raised in the city. More than 70 homes and buildings are feared to have been destroyed in a bushfire in Australia. The fast-moving fire engulfed the New South Wales coastal town of Tatra late on Sunday local time. Authorities said locals were evacuated to a nearby town and there were no reports of anyone missing.
At one point, up to 40...
Now news on sports. Bangladesh cricket team has returned home, ending Colombo tour, participating in Nidaha's Tri-Nation T20 trophy in Sri Lanka. The Tigers arrived in Dhaka this morning by a flight of Sri Lankan Airlines. Sri Lanka organized the series for celebrating their 70 years of Independence Day with participation of Bangladesh and India. The Tigers displayed their brilliant performance in the final match. Not only final, but also in the league round, Bangladesh beat Sri Lanka 2 times. And now to end the bulletin, a recap of the top stories. Cabinet approved draft of National Defence Policy 2018 defining armed forces wartime role and beyond. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina opens solo exhibition of painter Shahabuddin, urges all to cherish the spirit of liberation war. President Muhammad Abdul Hamid calls upon all to resist conspiracies of anti-liberation forces. Namaz-e-Janaza of 23 plane crash victims held at the Army Stadium as bodies arrive in Dhaka. Vladimir Putin elected President of Russia for the 4th time as expected. And heartbroken Tigers return home from Sri Lanka.
That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla News. Till then, Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.